Okay, folks, I'm back. Sorry about that. I have a 15-minute window right now, thanks to the YT because of a certain reason. But anyway, like I said, Laser X5 basically brought one of the things Laser X5 brought up, and believe it or not, and I'm a part of this group, and I'm not ashamed to say I'm a part of this group, I should say, on DA, but there's a group on DA that's dedicated to keeping the cheek fuzz as they call it, on Sally. I'm not lying. But anyway, what I was trying to say at the end of part one was, I told Laser X5, or Jonathan 83X, what if, this whole, basically I was trying to tell him is, what if this whole missing cheek fur is due to the blowtorch heel, right? But the more I think about it, didn't we see her with bolts around the cheek area when she was roboticized? When she first came out roboticized? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, but still. I kind of get what they're talking about. And I could probably see where the blowtorch would come in, and maybe Ian would change things up and say, Eggman used the blowtorch to take the cheek fuzz off or something. I can understand that. I can understand that and everything. But, again, it's more about, but basically the debating topic is how the de-robotization will come about, and basically how the new outfit will come about, how the new design will come about when she's restored. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I told Laser X5. This is one of the things Laser X5, Jonathan 83X, said on there. This is what he was telling, this is part of what he was discussing back and forth with with member Prime, if you will, member Prime, with FSU member Prime on the site. He said this, and I quote, "And besides, you haven't addressed the biggest flaw of the argument, saying these two designs aren't connected. Okay, he said, this is basically what Laser X5 says. Hold on. He says, and besides, you still haven't addressed the biggest flaw of the argument, saying these two designs aren't connected. Her missing cheek fuzz. Why would Sally not have that feature if all she's getting is a standard de-robotization?" And this is what I said to them. This is what I said to Laser. I said this. This is what I said to Laser. This is me. This is what I said, and I quote. This is my saying. I said, well, if you want to look at it from what you're 95%, if you want to look at it from what you're 95% sure, from what you're 95% sure it will be, not saying it won't go that way, perhaps the missing cheek fuzz, if it remains missing after she's restored, or perhaps could be contributed to the blowtorch / off-panel weaponization modifying line. But we have to wait and see. And that idea, we have to wait and see, is what everybody's been talking about. But I kind of brought up something there. I said it could be contributed to that. But again, when you take a look at the last panel, when she has the blowtorch to her face, it's like her cheek fuzz is already, it's like you already have the bolts where the cheek fuzz would be. And I think that's what some people are trying to point out to people like Jonathan 83X, and a few Red Arthur at times, and a few others, and Game Boy Sage, and many out there. Now Laser X5 did kind of respond to me by saying this. This is what Laser X5 said to me, Jonathan 83X said to me. They said, in reply to what I just said, they said, That explanation about the whole blowtorch deal with the cheek fuzz and everything, excuse me, this is what they said to me in my response. Hold on for a second. Better. But this is what they said. And I quote, LaserX5/Jonathan83X, this is what they said. That explanation would only prove my point about Mecha Sally and Sega Sally's new outfit being connected. The only reason the two outfits don't match is because of creative liberties, and possibly appeasing to Sega's demands of Sally becoming Segified. It's kind of like when Sonic became roboticized, and his robotic arms had laser weapons automatically added. That was taking creative liberties there too, because if Sonic had been standardly roboticized, he wouldn't have had those modifications to his robotic body. Unless he was weaponized too, like Sally. Now, of course, I admit I don't know for sure how Sally's look will happen exactly. Okay, now of course I admit I don't know for sure Sally's look will happen exactly that way. But again, I cannot see what other explanation there could be. Her new look has been modified way too much for it to be anything other than a magical de-robotization. But yes, you're right, I suppose we'll have to wait and see. And then they kind of respond to another member who's asking, how basically another member who's asking the question of, they still want to know how she will be de-roboticized. Their guests, of course, going in two directions, Chaos Control or Nagus, and then LaserX5, Jonathan83X responds, either that or a super powerful de-roboticizer. Now, one member called Game Master Anthony over at the forums, this is what they said, and I quote, "Actually, I have a theory on how she will be de-roboticized, especially considering that, and this is what they say, in the last issue I saw, Nagus decided to save himself by inhabiting Jeffrey's body. Now, if Jeffrey manages to regain control, and with it, get Nagus' powers, and still has some feelings for Sally." Now, I agreed with him. I said, yeah, it could go that way, but we still have to wait and see. Now, the other member that wanted to know how it happens came up with their own theory. And their theory is this. My theory, this is a member by the name of Uncle Ben. This is their theory, and that's my dryer going off in the background. But this is their theory. Their theory is this. Seems possible, agreeing with the whole, Jeffrey, getting Nagus' powers, getting control of his body again and getting Nagus' powers, at the same time to restore Sally. But this is the Uncle Ben members' theory. This is what they said. And I quote, My theory is Sonic uses Chaos Control to go back in time and stop her from getting de-roboticized. Stop her from getting de-roboticized? I think you mean stop her from getting roboticized or something like that. See what I'm saying? Now, basically everybody has their own theories and guesses and everything, but still the debating is there. But among all that, it's still a debate of how the new design will come about. Some, again, like LaserX5, Jonathan83X, Uncle Ben, Red Arthur at times, and a few others out there like Game Boy Sage and who knows who else, they all feel it's going to come about because of the mecha design, or the weaponization design. While others feel it could come another way. Now, me, and I'll probably put this in text just to show it there as well in text, but basically, I feel that it will come about that if the new design happens, I feel kind of both ways. Basically, when I say that, I'm saying basically, as I said in the first video, I feel it could go both ways. It could go the way of what everybody's assuming it would go, and that's the weaponization mecha design being the cause of the new outfit, the new design for next year. Well, I look at it like, well, if she gets de-roboticized, she could either A, decide she wants to go with a more action girl outfit on the field and still kind of wear the vest and boots when she's like around New Mobitropolis and stuff, or two, she could be de-roboticized, but her vest, because of when she was roboticized, her vest and boots and maybe a bit of her hair could be damaged. In other words, her vest could be totally like ripped to shreds, her boots could be damaged and stuff, and that could result in her having to pick out a new outfit. Now I know some of you might say, well, Brian, didn't she have her vest and boots ripped before? Yeah, you could probably say she may have, but I don't remember exactly when or where. I mean, heck, she survived a near-death experience. She survived, a wall falling on her, if you will. And yet, every time she does something, her vest stays intact, right? Must be some super strong material. But still, knowing how Ian Flynn is and how this could happen, I wouldn't be surprised that if he goes that direction, that could be the reason why she changes into a new outfit. Maybe because finally something happened that causes the vest. Maybe because something finally happens that in Ian Flynn's writing, and whoever draws it, whether it's Butler or Yarling or Bates or whoever draws it and colors it, if you will, that maybe the vest will be so torn up that she'll probably keep it, but she'll have to wear something else until maybe, let's say, it's repaired. I'm just saying. But nobody really knows, and that's why people are debating it. I mean, even though we've got maybe almost a year, perhaps less than a year, who knows? But the truth is, we don't know for sure how it's going to happen or how it's going to come about. Nobody does, and nobody will. Because for all we know, ladies and gentlemen, for all we know, it could come out of left field. It could come out in a way we would never understand. We would never see coming. I mean, heck, one person even came up with a theory over the U.S. boards of perhaps Nagas going from Jeffrey's body into Sally's body. You know what I'm saying? Now that would be an interesting theory, and that would tie into the whole traitor scenario, but no one really knows. No one knows for sure. And I think that's where the debate continues to rage on. That's where it continues to rage on, folks. I mean, all we have to do is, like many people have said, and many people, whether they feel one way or another, have all agreed on, is despite how we see it happening, we just have to wait and see how it comes about. We just have to wait and see how Ian Flynn writes it in. We just have to wait and see. And if it comes about the way many feel, that some feel it will, through the mecha weaponization design being the cause of the new outfit, or if it comes out a different way like others are feeling. Or even if it comes out of left field and both sides are wrong. We don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what Ian Flynn, Paul Kaminsky, and the rest of the staff on that comic has in store. So that's all I'm going to say. Sorry for this being in two parts. Comment down below, tell me what you think, and I'll talk to y'all later.